Okay, so my name is Rhian.
Sorry, it wasn't just showing, it was recording. I don't know why. I thought I pressed
No,
it. There you are.
no problem. Again, you'll be
Again.
sad again. My name's Rhian. I am the Engaging Communities Manager for Diabetes UK Cymru. And part of my role is to deliver talks like yourself. I am by no means an absolute expert, and we aren't able to give medical advice or anything specific, just because we don't know what other ailments individuals have or other medications. And that is obviously for the GP and the healthcare professionals to be able to deal with that. So I'm going to take you through some very basics about what diabetes is. So the difference between type 1, type 2. Break down a little bit about why the conditions, why people have type 1 and type 2. A little bit about the risk factors. But towards the end then, I'm just going to talk you through about some of the changes that we can make. And also trying to signpost you to what's available already throughout Diabetes UK and on through our website as well. And then obviously we've got some space to answer questions at the end. If I'm unable to answer any of the questions, I will get back to you with some of the answers. So let's kick off then. So what is diabetes? So the video's coming up shortly now, so fingers crossed you can hear it.
There's no sound at the moment.
Oh.
Rhian.
Bear with me. There's always technical issues. So, right then. So the video was shared with sound. How do I undo that is the question. How do I make it play with sound? Let me know if you can hear it now. Go back to the start.
Diabetes is a condition where your blood glucose level, also known as blood sugar level, is too high. There are two main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. There are also some rarer types, but they're all serious and can be diagnosed by your GP. The signs and symptoms you need to look out for are weeing often, because your body will be trying to lower your blood sugar levels by flushing out the extra sugar in your blood. This can lead to other symptoms, including feeling really thirsty or gentle itching and thrush. This can happen if your wee contains a lot of sugar in the blood, because it can create an environment for fungal infections. You may also feel tired, because the sugar in your blood can't get into your cells to turn into energy. This could lead to your body trying to break down its fat stores instead, so you might find that you are losing weight without really trying to. Wounds might also take longer to heal, because high blood sugar levels can limit nutrients and oxygen that can get into your blood. And your eyesight might be blurry, as blood sugar can build up, making it harder to see. With type 1 diabetes, the symptoms can be more obvious and develop much quicker, over a few days or weeks. With type 2 diabetes, the symptoms can develop much slower, and some people may not have any symptoms. This is why some people can live with type 2 for years without realizing they have it. If you do notice any of the symptoms, contact your GP straight away. Getting diagnosed can be the first step to getting treatment and support, so that you can find ways to live well with diabetes as soon as possible.
So I hope you found
Yeah,
that.
there was sound, but it wasn't terribly clear or loud, just what Sangeeta said. So what we could do is afterwards we could share the YouTube link.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As always, I think obviously, COVID has allowed us to have a lot of time on Zoom and meetings. But as always, there's always some technical issue. So I do apologize for that, but we will share the link for the video. So when we're looking at the prevalence of diabetes, so obviously we got the difference between type 1, type 2. 90% of the people have, or individuals have type 2 diabetes. Roughly about 8% of individuals have type 1. And then there are other types of diabetes, whether that's monogenic, genetics, MODIs, LADA, other rarer types of diabetes that individuals have. But we're predominantly looking at that 90% of individuals with type 2 diabetes. When it comes to type 1, the causes is quite mostly unknown. As an organisation, we are, invest a lot of money into actually trying to find out the reasons why individuals, in particular from a young age, will have type 1 diabetes. It could be a result of a viral infection or other infection, and also having that familiarity and that genetic side with a family member as well. If a family member, a close blood relative has type 1 diabetes, it's not automatic that child or someone else is going to have it, but it has that familiarity with it as well. So at the moment, we are quite unknown and sort of in the dark about why individuals have type 1 diabetes and why all of a sudden the body attacks the beta cells basically and stops producing the glucose and the insulin that's needed for us. When we're looking at type 2, there's different risk factors. So as we get older, our bodies tend to get a little older and our organs tend to get a little older themselves. So we see roughly from about 40 plus is what we see individuals being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. But over the last couple of years, we are seeing that number's actually coming down, so a little bit lower. Individuals with a family history are at higher risk of having type 2 diabetes. And individuals from South Asian and Black ethnicities also have a higher risk factor as well. So I like to split this up into the two columns. So the stuff that you were seeing on the left and the right, or it could be reversed, because I'm doing my screens for here. So the stuff that we can and can't change, basically. So when we're looking at the other side of the column, we have weight. So being in a healthy weight range is really important for individuals to reduce the risk factor. Having individuals then with a healthy waist circumference is about reducing that risk of how hard your body's got to be able to work to get obviously that insulin and get the nutrients into our bloodstream. Individuals with who are experiencing depression and severe mental illness on occasions have the medication that they take increases the risk factors of having type 2 diabetes. And also on the last part, we'll be looking at women with a history of polycystic ovaries and those who have given birth to a baby over 10 pounds also has that increased risk as well. So we're looking at the stuff that we can't change. So we know that we're going to get older. Our family history can change. So for example, if you don't have a family member that has type 2 diabetes at present, that could change. But that is something obviously to keep an eye out, and also individuals' ethnicity as well. So those are the factors that we can change. So when we talk about risk factors, it's important to think of the stuff that we can change as individuals. So whether that is becoming a little bit more active, if you an individual needs to lose a little bit of weight, it's looking at those lifestyles contributions that we can take ownership for ourselves to make us as healthy as possible to reduce that risk. So we are looking at, let me just move the little thing so I can read it, around 13.6 million people in the UK are at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So unlike type 1 diabetes, type 2 can sometimes be prevented. Research has shown that for some people, a combination of lifestyle changes can reduce their risk of up to 50%. So that is, when we're going back to the previous slide about the stuff that we can and can't change, it's really important that we look at some of the lifestyle changes that we are able to make, which we'll go into a little bit further on now. So 13, I don't know the population basically in the UK, so we're looking at about 65 million individuals, 13.6 million people at risk of type 2 diabetes. These numbers are astronomical. They're absolutely huge numbers. And what we want as an organisation is when we do delivering talks like this, is to give people those signpostings into our website, into the services that we're able to offer to be able to help people make those lifestyle changes. So how can I lower and prevent my chances of developing type 2 diabetes? On our website, we have a find out basically the level of risk that you're at. And on our website, we have a tool, it's an interactive tool called Know Your Risk. And what that basically does, it asks you a series of questions something similar to what I showed you earlier about the stuff that we can and can't change, all tailored to yourself. So it's asking questions about yourself, your age, your family history, and then online then it asks for weight and height measurements, and they will basically give you an algorithm at the end of that series of questions. Will give you a risk score of your risk of developing type 2 diabetes in the years to come. It will also then give you the tools via email to be able to basically help you make those changes. So that's a really useful tool that we have, and I'm hopefully I can, if the links work, that I can show you what that tool looks like. But that's a really good base level tool for you to understand, you know, where are you on this risk score of type 2 diabetes, and also basically for you to look back on to be able to complete the risk tool again if you've already made lifestyle changes. We all know that eating well is really important for us, and maintaining a balanced diet. As an organisation, we do not want anyone to completely cut out absolutely everything, because what we want to make sure is that we're having sustainable changes. So it's really about choosing a diet and that is going to be personal to yourself. It's not one that we would specifically recommend that everyone, you know, a diet one fits all, because that's not the case. We know that weight and losing weight and eating healthy is a very personal thing, and also very cultural as well. So it's about making those changes that you know that you can sustain. And I think that's the key messages basically that we're trying to get out to individuals is have lifelong changes. So it's not a fad diet. It's not something that is going to be a quick fix. It's something that you can really maintain over the course of your life. Moving more, and that's the same as well, basically. We understand that not everyone's going to want to go out and run a marathon or swim 22 miles or to be able to lift heavy weights. It's about moving more. And I think that's the key of when we're talking about exercise, is that people a lot of the time get sucked into there's got to be a gym membership. It has to be these high intensity things. It's literally what you have available around you. So whether that is, you know, going for a walk on a lunch break, or whether that is doing gardening, moving more simply means that is to move your body a little bit more than what you have previously. And as we said, you know, losing weight is a very difficult and it's a very personal thing. So what we would recommend is obviously speaking to your GPs, speaking to your healthcare professionals, and following basically sort of healthy eating regimes that you are able to maintain. It is a very difficult and daunting, so I'm just admitting it as an individual, it is very daunting on occasions if someone is being told, right, okay, you need to lose X amount of weight, but break those down into manageable cycles for yourselves. And also you have the information and all the resources that I'm going to share in a little while about how to eat and what recipes are out there for you as well. So when we're looking at eating well, I think a lot of it comes down to common sense. So it's making sure that when we're eating, it's not necessarily just the food that we drink. So we've done many talks with individuals about the type of foods that individuals can drink, individuals can eat, but we're also looking at the people drink as well, basically. And that a lot of the time is the forgotten stuff, is the cups of teas and the sugars that might go in the cup of tea. Just because it's not something that you would necessarily associate with having that lifestyle, is we always tend to focus on that food element and not necessarily what we drink. So there's a lot of hidden calories in what we actually consume with our drinks. So where possible, it's about having drinks without sugar, without those extra calories in it. Choosing high fiber carbs, making sure that you are, you know, having your brown bread, your wholemeal pastas, really non-refined carbs. And the reason behind that, it makes you fuller for longer. And I think that's the key, basically, is set that high fiber diet for yourself, so you do feel fuller for longer, so you're not going for those for the snacks in betweens. Cutting down on red and processed meats, eating plenty of fruit and veg, just making sure that you get your variety of veg in, making sure that there's, when we look at our plate, one is inviting, that you've got that rainbow plate in front of you full of your fruit and veg. Choose unsweetened yogurt and cheeses. And when it comes to alcohol, it's being sensible with our alcohol intake. it's using obviously, you know, the notion of that if you have a celebration within a family, or whether it's a wedding event, it is a celebration of that specific time. It's not to continue on then for the next day, the next week. And as an organisation, we would never want anyone to sort of miss out on celebrations, or to not enjoy themselves at a family's wedding or a family's, you know, party, whatever it may be. It's about making those healthy choices. Is that it's about that accountability of we've had that celebration, and now it's about obviously maintaining the healthy diet as well. Choosing healthier snacks. A lot of people tend to sort of snack on the, you know, what is really quick and what's quick from the cupboard. But what we're looking at, there's a lot of variety of what snacks are out there for you. So whether that is snack swaps, it could be, for example, moving from a chocolate bar to a rice cake with that very low, with a very thin layer of chocolate on top. It could be moving from ice cream to frozen yogurts. It's about looking what snacks that you actually consume. I think what's really important as well is, if obviously losing weight and maintaining a healthy diet is really important for yourselves, is having a food diary, so you are accountable for everything you eat. And I think that way it's easier for you to eliminate and adjust your diet, because you know then what you're consuming on a daily basis. But there's a lot of information that we have available online with ourselves, and I will show you some of the resources that we have that's going to be able to help with this as well. And that's just reiterating basically what we've already said about moving more. It's about that spending less time sitting down and being more active, and it doesn't have to be about, you know, an expensive gym membership or running a marathon. It could be a brisk walk around the park, playing in the garden, doing online exercises. It's just about moving up, getting up from your seat and moving around the house. And even though it's my loathed job to do in the house, vacuuming and tidying up, it does have its place, especially in heat like this, when you are going to burn a little bit more calories, you know, exerting your energy in tidying up around the home as well. Every little thing makes a difference. So if you think that, you know, it's, whether that's getting off a bus, for example, a stop before your usual stop, or parking your car at the back of the, you know, the car park to do the weekly shop and walking those extra steps, all those little things really do make a difference. And it is simply about moving more where you can. Obviously, we understand that individuals' mobilities and different co-conditions might be totally different, but where you can, move just that little bit more. So these are some of the resources that we have available to ourselves for supporting individuals with diabetes. So we have our helpline. Trained counsellors are available Monday to Friday. And it's for a lot of the times if you can't get hold of your local team, or you have specific queries that you might want to ask. And they're absolutely amazing. Our helpline is absolutely amazing, and gets, you know, hundreds of calls over the course of the week to be able to provide advice and guidance. So that's a really important number for you to keep, and I'll share these links with you, and also the helpline email address. If there's something specific to your region and nation that comes through to the helpline, it will come through to our local teams as well. So that's something that we will pick up. For example, that could be around the care that you might be getting from the NHS, or specific sort of, I mean, I'm in the Wales team, so anything specific from Wales will come to our team, and that's something that we can pick up ourselves as well. Our local groups, so it's a local group finder. So basically we have a number of local groups, so our support groups across the UK. And it's basically a place for people to get together to talk about their diabetes, and it's that peer-to-peer network. I think sometimes it's really important to have that community around you, because if there's no one in your family that, for example, might not necessarily understand the condition, it's really important to have that support around you to help you to make those lifestyle changes. And basically, on occasions, living with diabetes can be difficult and is difficult. So sometimes you just might want that more with other people who understand the condition. And our groups are absolutely fantastic. So they volunteer-led, led with individuals who are living with the condition, or are caring for individuals that have the conditions. And it's really important to have that face-to-face element or online to be able to speak to other people from the community that we have across Wales and the UK as well. Our learning zone that we have in this award-winning interactive education tool that's specifically supporting people with diabetes. It's been clinically approved and endorsed by experts. And it's about having that sort of algorithm, basically. It's about providing you those snippets of education that's going to help you with your diabetes journey. When we go through the learning zone, it's very much tailored to yourself. So it asks a series of questions again, all about yourself and what you want out of the interactive sessions. And it will tailor the advice and guidance that you have put in, the support that you said that you might be struggling with, or you would like more information on. So whether that is exercise or support or mental health, it's all there for you in this interactive tool. And I can't praise the tool enough. It's quite difficult to show it to you because obviously it's very it's very centric around that individual and the advice and support that you would have. But I would highly recommend you obviously Googling the Learning Zone on our Diabetes UK website, and it'll bring you through those that tool for you. We also have as well our diabetes support forum, so you can log on 24/7 to find help, tips and friendly welcome advice then basically from other people's living with diabetes. It's open to everyone, and it's another arm of our peer-to-peer. There might be a question that is very specific to yourself and you think, oh, no one's going to know the answer to that, or for example, within a certain area where you live in, and you'd be surprised by how many people within your local area are going through exactly the same thing, is going to give you that peer-to-peer support. It's a really, really useful tool to have, in particular when you're newly diagnosed and there's a lot of other questions that you just want to speak to someone or, have that support then from people who are already living with the condition. These are, for me, I'd probably say one of the two most important that we have, or the most useful that we have. When we are out and about in our doing talks, we were in the Royal Welsh Show, we go to the Steddfod, we go to massive events. And I can guarantee you probably 90% of the time, people asked about what recipes. I understand what healthy eating looks like, but what recipes do we actually have? What can I eat? How can I eat it? I'm vegetarian, whatever the query may be. On the Diabetes UK website, we have, I'm just trying to see, sorry, I'm just trying to see if the hyperlinks are still working. Let's have a look if I can show you here now. Oh, like magic. I hope you can see that. So basically, this is our Diabetes UK website, and basically it's a recipe finder. So as you can see, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. We have over 535 recipes on there. So it's absolutely massive amount of resources that's available for you. And what's really useful is that you can search in your own recipes, but this section here is all the stuff that you can actually, if individual has sort of diet requirements or want, for example, gluten-free food that is, let's have a look, vegan. Let's see if what comes up here now. This is interesting. This is quite embarrassing. So just talk amongst yourselves. Let me choose oh, there it is. This is me being impatient. So these are then all of the sort of recipes that are coming up with that. And what's really, really useful is this, for example, you can see down here, is that it breaks down the nutritional values for you. So for example, the baked cauliflower and black beans and coconut recipe, it's broken down the nutritional values for you, which is really, really important, because I think that's one way of you understanding how many calories in there, what fat content, what carb content. And as you can see here, this serves 4. It gives you all the instructions, your nutritional values, and obviously your ingredients at the side with that as well. So it's a really, really useful tool for you to, if you're stuck about what to eat or what you can and can't eat, or really struggling for sort of inspiration, really, these are absolutely amazing tool for you to go through and to look at in your own time, to be able to sort of really find out then basically about what's available there for you. Now let's see if we can go back to the original screen. Nope. Let's see if this one is correct before I click out of anything. Ah, there we are. Oh, that was a bit nerve-wracking. I thought I was going to lose you all then. And the other piece of information that's really, really important is the online shop. And I know it might sound a bit crazy that I'm asking you us to look at the online shop. You think, you know, I'm not asking anyone to buy anything here, but what is really useful is the information for you section here. So this is where we have all of our literature. We go out, when we go to events, we have obviously batches of literature available, but we also encourage people to download their guides. So as you can see here, you've got your type 1, type 2 guides, and you can literally download them ready there for you. They're available in all the different languages that we have available, and specifically to your regions and nations. As you can see, the download section is there ready for you to be able to have those guides. So if there's anything that you would like to read up a little bit more, the guides are here, there for you, and it's a free resource for you. You can download them as many times as you want. We have some recipe cards in the bottom here, our enjoy food guides. So it's really useful for you to have or to have this information, because the information's there at your fingertips. And I think sometimes people don't know that this information is there for you, but as you can see, it goes down right the way down. There's loads and loads and loads. So that's another really good free tip, useful tool basically for you to have. Fingers crossed we can make it. There we are, we got back. Well, I'm getting good at the Zoom lark now. And really just like to just you know, to sort of showcase what we do as a whole organization, what we can actually help. We've shown you obviously the publications that we have. Our website is absolutely full of information. It's absolutely amazing. And that's where a lot of the time as the staff go to, because it's all clinically improved. Everything that we would put up onto our website is gone past our healthcare professionals in London, and making sure that it is obviously the most accurate information possible. We've got our online learning zone and our helpline service. For support on what we do, we also do is that we have children holidays and family weekends. We have voluntary groups. We put a lot of time, effort and resources into finding better treatments for individuals with diabetes, and ultimately to have that hurrah moment of, you know, finding a cure for diabetes. And as I said, we are still learning all the time. And as we progress, it is constantly a learning for ourselves as staff, but also for the diabetes community. There's always research that we are undertaking to find out why an individual will have diabetes, why individuals from certain ethnic backgrounds will be will be at a higher risk of having type 2 diabetes, for example. And also what we do really well is campaigning for better service. So I can only speak for what we do constantly at the moment in our Wales team, is basically working with the Welsh Government, working with obviously the UK Government to find out better ways of delivering diabetes care, and to help prevent that discrimination that comes along, and the stigma that comes along with having you know, diabetes as well. So as an organisation, we really do punch above our weight for our staff ratios, and it's just making sure that where possible, that we can give the information out as hopefully as clear as we can, because it is it's a very complex condition. But the more simplified we can make that information for people to understand, the better is it, and better it is for individuals as well. So any feedback that you might have on any of the sort of resources on our website, feel free to show us, and that's something that obviously we can take into consideration when we revamp the information that we have on there as well. And that's really it. I know it's been a lot of information chucked at you. So any questions? I'm going to stop sharing and see if I can see back to all of you be here now. All right, stop share. Aha, you're back in the room.
Well, thank you so much, Rhian, on behalf of Thriving Communities and members of the Hengoid Happiness and Wellbeing Group. And I really appreciate this, because I think the more knowledge we have, the more we're better equipped to help ourselves and to be on alert, either for ourselves, for people that we love, for the signs and symptoms of diabetes if we're not yet diagnosed, because there is an element of or proportion of the population that's still not diagnosed and they have the symptoms. So and it just seems like your website is an amazing resource. For the learning tool, for recipes, and even if you're not diabetic but want to live a healthier life, you can probably benefit from some of those recipe cards, definitely.
And I know I've tried quite a few of the recipes as well, and you know, like you think, oh, this is, you know, it's healthy, it's healthy, it's not going to be that lovely, and you think, actually, we've had like I've tried some of the soups, the curries, and they're absolutely beautiful. So takeaway, you know, it's very costly to have a takeaway. But yeah, anything on the website is, and as I say, it's really broken down for you. It's really simplified. And what we've tried to do as well is that obviously understanding the sort of, you know, the pressures the families are under when it comes to obviously the increased cost of living, is have recipes that reflect that as well. So it's really important that we look at, you know, stuff that you can freeze, that you can batch cook. So whether that is the curries, spag bol, it's there for people to have. And it's just making small changes. If there's one thing that you take away from this talk, is make small sustainable changes. And I think that's the key message.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Sangeeta, for your comment. I forgot I put myself on mute because somebody was talking in the background behind me. But yeah, do you have any questions now while Rhian's still on the call? Otherwise, obviously, you can always reach out to me or to direct to Diabetes UK Cymru and their website. Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much for all our participants for joining in, and for anybody that obviously will be catching up on this recording on the replay. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Rhian, especially.
Thank you.
And hopefully see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye then. Bye.
Everyone, have a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye.